Hey guys, this is chess coach Andrew Rankin. Welcome back to Utah Chess Institute's 1510 Rapid Games. So let's jump right in. Let's play a game. I think we'll play someone around the 2050 rating range. No, 2264. Let's wish our opponent good luck, have fun, and jump right into it. Potro Kulo 88. He plays a Dutch. Alright, we got a few ways of dealing with this. We can play the g3 or we can play knight c3. G3 is the way that most Dutch players dislike playing. So the idea with g3 is that we're just going to develop normally, and then the knight's going to go to c3 and we're going to try and break with e4. Yeah, we'll play g3. He's opening up his dark square bishop so that he can potentially take my knight on c3 and give himself this outpost on e4. So that's really his entire strategy. I know a lot of players that have switched to the Dutch because they play d4 themselves and they find it to be the most challenging. So I myself, as a d4 player, I think the Dutch is probably the most challenging to play against. And I think I should learn some of the Dutch. But this is the Stonewall Dutch. There's also the I'm not sure the name. Is it the Stratholm Dutch or something like that? I think it starts with an F, an S, where they fianchetto the light square bishop on b7. And then there's also the Leningrad Dutch, which I think is where you play g6 bishop g7. Oh, he takes here. I'm pretty sure that we can take or we can leave it. Taking makes sense, but after we take, he's going to take back and then play this move. So play queen to c2. I know that's definitely a move. That way when this comes with check, we don't get... Yeah, let's go queen to c2. Yeah, he just gets his stone wall set up. I think we'll continue with knight to f3 and then castle. And I guess his attack is going to come on the king side. Something like h5, h4. Maybe I go here, threatening after this. Pawn takes, bishop here, just winning the queen, because she's almost trapped. But knight f3, go bishop f4. If he goes here to trade off dark square bishops, then he's just left with this light square pawn complex with a light square bishop who has, I guess, prospects of doing this someday. So now after knight f3, if he plays knight b to d7, pawn takes, bishop here, his queen gets trapped. So I have seen this line happen before, but I doubt he's going to fall for it. But let's see. Knight f3 is a normal move. This is his weak square. I've actually seen players play d5, and after pawn takes, they break with c5 as well. But this person's just trying to play a positional game. trying to just take his space and then use that for some sort of g5 attack in the future, I guess. Now we're looking for knight b to d7, which loses a pawn after pawn takes, queen takes. Actually, I think I've lost this position before, because he plays knight here and my queen gets kind of trapped. So after pawn takes, you can't take this pawn, because your queen gets trapped after knight to e4. But then again, he hasn't castled yet. So we have knight to e5, threatening queen f7, mate. You always got to be looking for tactics in the Dutch, because they have a weaker king, they have very far advanced pawns, and if you can pull the right stone out from under this structure, it'll all collapse. So there's also b4, b5 ideas in the future. Usually you need a rook on b1 to support the attack, because like I said, you're just trying to undermine this pawn structure, break open the center, and if the center falls apart, usually black's king ends up super weak. This is why the stone wall is not supposed to be very good, because you basically do this setup regardless of what your opponent does, and if you're not taking into consideration your opponent's moves, you're probably doing something wrong. So he castles. I think knight to c3 or castles. So we have to be careful, this pawn could just fall. So I think we castle now. So the knight comes here and then g5 hits. Now I'm thinking of pawn takes, knight here, pawn takes here. Now I kind of want to take and then play knight c3. The good news is that the bishop can always drop back. So I'm thinking of going knight here. Here gives me the option of taking the knight if I ever need to. There's also just this. Gotta get the knight involved, and the rook's probably here, and start breaking at this structure. So yeah, the knight wants to go here, because then the bishop can always drop back after g5. It's just ludicrous. I mean, it's just like, don't develop your pieces, just play g5. g5 or knight b to d7. Or he might even play knight here with the intention of going here. So a3, b4, b5. He does go there. That's a good sign. I like this. Even though he comes here and then nothing really changes. Now rook b1, b4, b5. I could also take, and then when the pawn takes, go knight here. Then his bishop opens up, and that's the whole point. The whole point is to do nothing with your bad bishop until white basically activates it for you. So, in other words, don't activate their pieces for them. So let's go rook b1 with the idea of just b4, b5. Because if this pawn falls, he takes, and this pawn falls, he's going to end up in trouble. If we can put pressure on his position, we'll be good. Rook here, I think we have knight takes, pawn takes, bishop here. All we have to do is open the center or the queen side, and then he doesn't have time to push his pawns on the king side because then his entire pawn structure is loose. His entire position is loose. So what he wants is a solid, non-confrontational, non-open, closed center and queen side so that he can simply just launch his pawns on the king side. Yeah, so he does that. I guess his idea is to go here, but the rook's still here, so not too worried about that. So let's continue with b4. That's the plan. Now he doesn't have b5 or g5, so I'm guessing he just plays like bishop d7. But once this comes, he pushes here. But once the center starts to open up, this bishop gets stronger and stronger. It's X-raying basically all of his pieces. Well, most of his pawns. He takes. Okay. So we take, and then the knight jumps in. I'm thinking here. As we put pressure here, we guard this square for the minority attack. We guard our center. We also guard this square so that the knight can come up, and if he plays g5, we can always drop back to safety. I don't want to drop back to like here, which would cut my rook's coordination off. Trading is really good for us because he has a weakened pawn structure. So the less pieces, the less strong his attack is, and the easier it is for us to simply poke at his pawn structure. See, if we can get these bishops activated, open up the position, it's going to be really nice for us. We always have this outpost square on e5, so that's the thing about this stone wall, is that it looks very promising for the person playing it. I'm not going to say for black because white can play a stone wall as well. It looks very promising for the person who's playing it, but you realize that the long-term prospects are simply what you get from the very beginning of playing it, versus your opponent gets like the most potential. So you give your opponent all the potential. So for example, we can attack him in the center, Basically, what he's doing is like he's like someone who's going out to stake their land, and they're saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna build a fort. Now, I'm gonna be super defensive and able to protect myself." But basically, they're asking you to come attack them. So since he's staking his claim so early on, it's pretty clear what the targets are going to be. Versus other players, better players, who like grandmasters who never play the Stonewall, they're going to play a much more fluid, much more flexible position. So now I think just knight here. This always allows me to kick him out. So threatens to take the bishop. So f3, e4. Pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes. We give up the light square bishop, but his center falls apart. Now his pieces aren't so coordinated. f3 here. Knight goes back. e4. Pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. Bishop takes. Knight takes, queen takes. And this d pawn becomes quite weak. I think we just play a4 here, continuing the threat. Ideally, I'd like to trade off all these pieces, these pawns, so that I just get targets on the queen side. And if this bishop can get stronger, then I'm happy. So clearly my bishops are pointing at the queen side, so I think that's where I want to play. But I want to keep an eye on the center. His position requires a locked center, so the sooner I can get a chance at breaking that up, the better. I mean, g5 is like the game plan. I'll go here. He goes there. Now pawn here, pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. Wish I could take here, but I can't. Do we just bring the rook to the center or to the c file? I could also drop back and then reroute the knight this way. The knight covers these squares that prevent him from moving the bishop, which has the sole job of preventing b5. So now comes g5, I think. Do I play a4? a6, b5, pawn takes, pawn takes. I can go bishop here. With the idea of like king here and rook over. 4 seems a bit too committal. So f3, e4. e4. Our rook stays here. Gives us the opportunity to push with d5. Yeah, let's go rook to d1, guarding at least this square. But now this square is juicy for his knight, so the queen can't really leave c3. But after f3, e4, I mean, his knight's got to run away. This knight is better than this bishop, so I don't think I mind trading off the light square bishop. Pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. Bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes. Actually, if I go f3 and he goes the knight back, I can just take the pawn. So he has to move the knight like back here. And then I can go here. So this is an interesting idea with the threat of f3. So I'm guessing g5 is now going to come. Bishop d2 is nice because it guards c3. Does kind of make my rook look dumb on d1 though. I'd love to trade this bishop for this knight. What if we trade off his dark square bishop now? Oh, bishop here. Is the rook going here? Takes, takes in order to get his queen over here. Oh, this doesn't work because the knight guards that square. Oh, f3? Where's the knight going? The knight has to go here. And e4. Then here. f3, knight here, only move. Bishop here. Rook goes like here, I guess. Bishop takes. I don't really want to trade. I mean, my bishop's better than his. So what if we move the queen like here? With the idea of rerouting the knight to trade knights. And if he takes with the bishop, then our rook is always here. Putting more pressure on his position. I mean, he doesn't have this, so this is just like a move. Oh yeah, queen c2 looks useful. g5, I guess. Bishop moves here. f4. So I think we have to play f3 to kick the knight back so that g5 is no longer an option. Kind of like this, seeing where he goes and then just going back. No, because then I help him with this after the rook moves here. But then I have this. But what about this threatening this? I have like this reverse bathtub going on here. I think his position is on the verge of collapse. Really hard to play when your pieces are behind your pawns. Grandmaster Jan Hilstein always talks about that. So I think we want to take advantage of the fact that his pieces are behind his pawns, which is the most difficult way for you to place your pieces in play. So we'll just continue to put pressure on his position, and we'll wait with breaks like e4. Didn't even improve our rooks. Always have the threat of like bishop g5, sending the rook away from defending f5. I'm not in a big hurry to win this f5 pawn, but trade off the light square bishop. Yeah, so he moves back. I think I'm going here. Then after g5, here. Just here and then here. I do like the idea of the knight coming here so that I can take his knight. So let's move the queen back so that we can always drop the knight here. So we have the option, because I think he might go here to try and trade the knights. Or g5 here. Here we just take, I think. No, we take with the bishop. Yeah, queen c2. I like that his knight doesn't have here to put pressure on d4, but d4 is protected by the rook, and the rook x-rays the queen, so I think our pieces are actually very nicely positioned, and he always has to worry about b5. So this bishop has still, I guess it's better than when it was on c8, but it's not letting him coordinate his pieces so well. And we always have the option, if the g-pawn trades off, of king f2 and then rook g1, and all of a sudden, who's attacking who on the king side? Maybe he plays bishop to g5? That's interesting. Nope, he just plays pawn g5. Oh, I like bishop to e3. Seems most flexible. Is he gonna push here? That doesn't make a lot of sense. I think he's gonna go here and then here. But still, we have pawn takes. I mean, then once the f-pawn trades off, then this square becomes weak. The only problem with this is that he's not defended here, but this knight is like forever here. Let's go bishop e3. We can always go to f2 and have kind of this bishop artillery, also defending our king side. He just pushes. Wow. We have this check. Pawn takes, bishop drops back. He moves here, rook comes over. I don't really like this for him. I don't think this is very good at all. Maybe I go here because he wants to get this in. Oh, here. King here. So our queen is now hitting h7, so how do we get another attacker there? We go like bishop here, but then just king here, and then rook here. Go here, so he has to defend this guy. King h1, rook d1. So he's going to play rook king g8. I'm going to play king h1, rook g8, rook d1, rook takes, rook takes. I mean, yeah. We get to the g file first. He goes here, we just go here. Also has to really worry about the knight. Our knight is super strong. Our bishop's also going to be really strong. So now we can double up. I think he has to go knight here to trade off my knight, because my knight covers like all his key squares. But that would require sacking a pawn. Knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and now this becomes weaker. So we could even sack here and then go check. Also the queen here, some lateral attack. Guess the queen is going here so that he can go here and hit both pieces. Rook here, queen here, rook here. Here just loses. He moves the knight off, then we have this hitting the queen. Takes, 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 takes. No, the threat is this, so if he goes bishop there, then yeah, we have this threat. So now we bring the rook attacking the bishop. Bishop does a really nice job guarding this. Now he's making some serious weaknesses. Problem is this bishop kind of sucks. Can we reroute it somehow? Like here, pawn takes, bishop takes. No, I don't want to open this up. Queen here is interesting. Threatening like this and then this. We gotta get the queen active. That's our last piece. Yeah, I like this idea. This bishop is also not very good. But we could go back and then go here. Here activates our light square bishop. Do like that. Now we have this. These pieces suck, but we have to be careful we don't accidentally activate them. I think my position is equally as fragile as his. But now this knight, so queen here threatens this and this kind of stuff. He doesn't have a bishop sack because the pawn takes and nothing changes. The bishop has to go here. I mean, that's like an only move. Knight here, do we take it? No, our light square bishop is so good. Here. If we go here, he just goes here. His idea. Here. We sack the pawn? Yeah, let's do it. Get our bishop in. Besides, if he takes with the knight, we take this pawn. So pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, and your position gets weaker. And if pawn takes, pawn takes, I guess this pawn falls. Might be a good thing though. And we get this kind of stuff. Put some pressure on that knight. He goes knight here. He does. We can take. He has to take with the pawn as we defend our queen. We can take. He takes. We take. You take. And now this looks so juicy. Yep, he does do that. I was looking at that. That's interesting. But if I go here, I go here. Takes, takes. Knight here is interesting. Bishop guards. Also threatens to activate the bishop. It could go here, threatening the rook. This pawn. I guess the space in the end won him the game. It's kind of dumb. At least we still have the bishop pair. I'm not sure the rooks can win. Problem is this pawn is backwards. He's gonna go here. No, he goes there. Okay. I'm glad to get out from under this. Can't move the rook because this takes with check and he blunders a piece. I go rook here, bishop here, then bishop here. Knight here maybe, and then here. The knight might help us win the game. This is a fork. Can't take because he has a check. We have to block with the bishop, and then this is basically almost mate. We might still have some winning chances here. As he has this, takes this here, Takes, takes. Takes. Check. No. Oh, fuck. Here just wins the game. Check. Still loses. Wow, he misses it. Here, I guess. Now I can force the rook trade. Oh, I could have taken. Because there was no square he could move the king that guards the pawn. Takes, and then this guy will fall. And it's a draw. Just gotta go back here. Or here. And we take. Mm-hmm. I think it's losing because I think he can bring the king over to win this, and then I have to sacrifice the bishop for this guy. And you could even pin it and then take it. And then queen. Is he really gonna draw with the rook and king? Rook in 3 versus bishop in 3? Really gonna let me get away with a draw here? Wow. Wow. Excellent game. Good game, well played. Let's see the analysis board because that was fascinating. Is this a draw? It is a draw. Wow, black can't make progress here. That's awesome. Yeah, Dutch is just a really tough nut to crack. Let's do a quick analysis because I have 2 minutes until I have to teach. So is taking here any good? It wants h4. Huh. The option of castling queenside, I guess. Well, this it likes for him, but it doesn't like... It wants to play h5. But then we can just play e5. h4, okay. h4. Queen c2. Says we're slightly better here. We double up. Plays there. Now it wants to reroute the light square bishop. Something like this, I guess. Put pressure here. So this gives away the advantage. Not really, but okay. Bishop there. Yeah, it just really squeezes my position. Oh, it wants to trade light square bishops, of course. And then the knight can come here. And yeah, we're just solid. Yeah, trading here. Trading the bishops is good. Okay, that's good to know. This was fine. Oh, why is this so good? Yeah, knight to d7. What if he moves the queen? He moves the queen here. Oh, no matter where he goes, he loses. Alright, guys, I gotta stop here, but take care. Bye.